Finally, we made it. Hello and welcome to episode 133 of Whatahockey Live, the podcast about all things Texas hockey and the culture and stories that surround it. Before we dive into this week, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, all at Whatahockey, as well as following along with us on the latest stories of all North Texas hockey things at whatahockey.com. It's just Pat and myself today. What's up, Pat?
Holding it
How
down.
are you, sir? We're holding it down for everybody. Shout out to Jason. Well wishes to Shan as she deals with her Fran Drescher voice. I had a phone call with her today, and she sounded like a mix of Fran Drescher and the girlfriend from Friends that kept saying, Joey. We have 7,000 people watching right now. Give or take a couple thousand.
7,000.
Super excited to be live with you guys. Obviously, we are recording here on Wednesday, October the 11th, one day before Dallas Stars hockey gets underway. Pat, I'm so pumped for this. Before we dive into hockey though, we got to check up with you, man. You've been to so many concerts lately. Have we missed any concerts since the last time we were all on together?
No, I don't believe so. Pink got canceled, which was a bummer.
Yeah, but you
postponed.
You got a good pivot though.
Yeah, we went to the fair, dude. Opening day on the fair is like primo. No lines.
That blows my mind.
No lines. The midway was pretty clear at like 8:00, and it closes at 10 on a Friday. Yeah, overall, we took the Dart from the Carrollton station down, and it was also kind of a test to see how long it takes to get to Victory, which is only half an hour. So, like, if it's raining, drive 15 minutes to Carrollton station and then take the train down there for $3. That sounds a lot better than sitting in traffic, paying to sit in traffic on the tollway.
Don't even get me started because it's all tollway all the time right now for my commute. So,
how are you doing, Fink? I want to know about you and how's the gig going?
The gig is good. Things are great. Can
you fill in the people that may not know on your latest career advancement?
Yeah, I was very, very fortunate, very lucky to be the person chosen to take over as the head of social media for the Allen Americans. We have been very close with that organization for going on 4 years now, and just extremely excited. I kind of told myself when I started doing some freelance writing that I'd give it 4 to 5 years of doing all of this to kind of get myself into the world of sports and working within the sports world. So I just have to be extremely grateful for everyone that had given me a chance up to that point. The Mid-Cities Junior Stars obviously was my first real kind of big break into it. I did a couple of freelance things here and there, but the Junior Stars, the Brahmas, who I worked for about 8 months leading up to this opportunity, it's just been a really cool experience to finally get. I don't want to say validation because I felt very validated when I was able to get into it from the start, from the get-go. But to kind of get here and get to this point has been awesome. So very excited to work.
Snaps all around.
Thank you.
And don't forget about us. Don't forget about us, simpletons here at Whatahockey when you make it big.
These you are my people. What do they say? This is my tribe. So yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Nothing's changing on that front. It might be a little sporadic here and there as far as when and kind of what we do content wise, but the podcast is not going anywhere. We're here to stay. Um, that being said, though, let's
You know what?
I guess
You know what isn't sporadic?
that
Where you want to go if you need a new hockey bag.
is the segue. Lean
Without,
forward to move ahead.
I'm
Here,
gonna burn through this real quick.
oh,
Know the
oh,
deal. I'm just gonna take it. Just get it out of the way.
this is for you, by the way.
Oh, beautiful.
Onto it.
I don't think you are, but for anybody listening, if you're looking to replace your moldy old hockey bag with that broken zipper, check out conwayandbanks.com. They make premium quality bags that are built to last. No sporadic quality here. You know what to get, what you're going to get. It includes the removable organizers to keep your gear organized, separated, and keeps everything dry with waterproof materials and giant vents. I'm not going to lie and say that my favorite feature is the built-in foot mat to protect you from those nasty wet locker rooms. Some people might say that. I wouldn't because I personally don't own one, but from what I
Yeah.
hear, that is the best feature. Another great feature, it comes in 3 different sizes and 5 different colors, so you'll be sure to find one you love. And you can get 10% off using code Whatahockey10 and get your gear to the rink, Shannon, in st- st-
That was good.
Thank you.
That felt good.
That was good. Shannon, take notes for
Well,
next
if
time
you,
since you're so
yeah,
hesitant to,
anti-style,
yeah, anti-style.
dare I say, anti-style. For those that are joining us, Shannon and Jason are out this week, and we absolutely miss them. I did it in my side. Literally nothing came out. Yeah, it's just I talked to her on the phone today. It was bad. That being said,
Oh,
actually, hey Jared, what's up, buddy? How are you? I think that they were doing goalie bags or making goalie bags at one point. So they do have a goalie bag. See, now the chat's going wild and everyone's like, they do have a goalie bag. Get over it. Anyway, moving on to our next fantastic friends over at Third Line Hockey. If you are looking to get out of town and play some hockey and have some beers with a great group of people, then look no further than Third Line Hockey. Third Line Hockey is your go-to for beer league drafts all over the world, literally in Scotland. That's like their next big one. With custom jerseys for each tournament, you are sure to look good, feel good, and play good. Head over to thirdlinedraft.com. That's 3RDLINEDRAUGHT.com and get signed up today. I've played in this tournament before. It's an absolute blast. Everyone, just a bunch of like-minded individuals. Shout out to Mindy. Yes, rolling back for Scotland. They have some sponsors, I think, that were literally trying to get people to go to Scotland. Shout out to Goalie Rob for tagging me in that and saying I should go. I would love to go, but prior engagements. I work in professional hockey.
job, career.
What's up, Jake? Big Jake in the house. Before we dive into the stars, one more thing that we have to talk about is Nice Mitts, the perfect fit beyond the rink, where athleisure meets hockey. Nice Mitts brings players a complete lineup of hockey athleisure apparel and ultralight pro level gloves. Speaking of, introducing the Pro Series mitts, designed for hockey players who want pro level protection and the ability to feel the puck like never before. Never before. The PSM gloves are the first hockey gloves that are machine wash friendly. Shout out hockey moms. Now your gloves will stay fresh and look new for every shift. Check them out at nicemits.com, NICEMITTS.com, and score 10% at checkout with Whatahockey 10. That's 10% off, by the way.
Those prism shorts are slick.
Oh yeah, man. I'm sold. I'm all in on Nice Mitts. Shout out to all that they're doing. I've got the shoes, I've got joggers, I've got shorts, I've got shirts. I am all in on Nice Mitts, and I am not ashamed to admit it. They
And
really have some cool products.
they're very reasonably priced also. Even
They
before the
are.
10% off.
And you know what's great? In this day and age, you can pay everything off in 4 payments. I think they use like a firm. So you could
Yeah.
literally go ham and pay it off in 4 to 6 weeks. And so it doesn't hurt as bad when you initially just like go all in. You can just get it. And then, every 2 weeks when you get paid, bada bing, bada boom,
You can
20,
buy
30
4
bucks.
at one time, and then it's just like you pay for 1 every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
As simple
I
as
wouldn't
that.
do that, but you could.
You could if you wanted to. If you wanted to go like crazy and get 20 shirts and a bunch of, but you have to do it. Whatahockey 10. Get that 10% off. That being said, there's really nothing on the front of the Americans I can say from my vantage point. Americans are in training camp. Season is closing in. Preseason game this weekend, Friday at Nitex. So if you guys are looking to get out to that, shoot me a DM. I'll make it worth your while. That was weird. Not in that way. Don't be weird. Just shoot me a DM. But I do want to, you know what? I'm glad we're talking about the other teams before we dive into the Stars. Obviously the Texas Stars are stacked this year, which we'll get into.
Yep.
Ilvis is kind of in the thick of their season now. They have picked up shout out to NyQuil. Shannon wanted everyone to know that you need to make good choices and don't suck. That's for us. The make good choices is for you. Good night, Shannon. Shout out to our boy Les. Pat, I don't
He
know if you saw this. Setting the bar high for any hockey
he
player out
sure
there.
is.
You know what? Snaps for Les,
Snaps
getting
for less.
engaged to his
Yeah,
longtime
congrats to
girlfriend.
him.
Congrats to
Congrats
him.
to them.
Yeah, both of them, I guess.
Kind of a power move, proposing on the ice. Is that
It's
where he
like,
proposed? Or is that
yeah,
did they
on
just have an
on the
announcement
ice.
there?
It
Yeah.
was on the ice at, I believe, on the ice at Nokia, where they
Yeah.
play over in Tempera. I like saying that
Tempera.
because it's like the only Finnish thing I know to say besides Kiitos. Which I don't know. I think there was an argument on our Twitter between
Oh.
like Ilves fans and other Finnish team fans, and they were arguing in Finnish. And I tried to translate it with like the Apple Translate, and it was like, we don't know Finnish yet, which blew
That's
my mind.
embarrassing.
It is
Embarrassing.
embarrassing. Steve Jobs died for that, for them not to know Finnish. Uh, but yeah, congrats to Les and his now fiance. He's got his dog over there in Finland. They're just living the life. He has got a great start to the season going on and off the ice now. But yeah, I couldn't be more excited for them. Also, want to give a huge congratulations on a really great career to another friend of the show, Josh Lamon, who announced his retirement a couple of weeks ago. We haven't talked about it yet. It's kind of surreal when you sit back and see kind of the people that we've talked to, because we're going on 4 years with this podcast. So a lot of the people that we've had on this podcast have been playing professionally at least for those 3 to 4 years, if not longer. And we're getting to see these guys evolve to the next portion of their life, essentially. So it's really
Mhm.
cool. It's honestly a pleasure whenever we have these guys on, and it means a lot too. We've been pulled aside by a few of them, and they've said, hey, this is it for me. This is my last run. So it's really cool to kind of see that, you know, not bow on the career, but essentially the metaphorical bow that they put on their career to call it a wrap and move on to the next part of their life.
Yeah. And shout out, I'm gonna this one's free for Lamb Chops. His photography is really good. It's Lamb
Yeah,
Shots on Instagram. LAMM Shots on Instagram. He's got some really solid pictures. Photos, excuse me. They're not pictures.
photographies. Yeah, well,
Check him out. He is worth the follow and got a lot of really cool stuff that I could not even imagine doing with the camera.
oh, and if you're ever in Florida and need an Airbnb, I think he has one. He's real proud of it, as he should be, because
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure Airbnb is dying. So
Yeah,
for
yeah.
him to keep it rolling, like, good on him. That being said, it is Dallas Stars opening night eve. We
This
have
before we
finally
get
made it.
into it, yeah, I was gonna say this has this offseason felt like an eternity to you because it has for me.
I can't say the same. I can say it in the fact that I didn't realize we were so close to the season starting when they were like, "Here's the opening night roster," and I was like, "Oh my god!" It part of me was like, it feels like just yesterday it was the end of the what we were hoping to be one of the most epic comebacks in the championship or the Western Conference Championship against the Vegas Golden Knights, who eventually went on to win the Stanley Cup. But then I sat back and I'm like, man, I have done so much shit since then. I am.
Yeah.
It has been a very long time. So yes, it in a roundabout way, it has felt like an eternity.
Time flies when you're getting old.
Oh, girl, preach.
We're not here
So
to talk
let's
about
just
that.
no, we're not. Let's just hop into it. Let's just dive right the F in
Let's do
and
it.
talk about the Dallas Stars and what we think will happen in the 2023-2024 NHL season that has officially started. We are officially underway. Hockey is back in almost every single way, shape, and form. The opening day roster. Yes. Rick Flair. Woo. Two
Woo is
times.
right.
Woo is right. I'm not gonna yell because I have roommates and a dog and she'll freak. Uh the opening day roster and the line combos. I think I speak for everybody. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because that's what's up next. Is are there any unexpected additions and subtractions from your vantage point, Pat, on this opening night roster?
Unexpected, no. Some folks, a couple guys missing that I would have liked to have been up. I think you know where I'm going with that. Um, the top three lines are totally expected. And I have these pulled up, and we'll just run through them real quick. But no surprises here. Uh, the Pavs line, Rope, Robo, and Pavs, obviously.
Yep.
Um, Marchment, Duchesne, and Sagan. That should be a solid second line, and we'll discuss. We have some point totals from last year to go over here in a little bit, but
Yep.
if Marchment can get his head out of his ass for, you know, more than 3 months at a time, then I think that line should be solid. Daddy Daycare, super stoked to keep that line intact.
Yep.
And then rounding it out, uh, Foxa, Deli, and Sam Steele. Sam Steele was, I guess, is kind of the surprise for me.
I
I
was
would
yeah.
I would have liked one of the young guns to be in the bottom pairing, even if it was like a 9 game trial run like Johnston got last year. I would have liked um preferably Stankoven, either him or Maverick Bork to be up and get a shot, but I understand why they're not. They want Stank, especially to go get some one step lower experience. Um, AHL is a big step up from where he was, and
Yep.
even the step up from AHL to NHL is pretty significant. I think he could handle it, but it's not my decision. So that's really the only surprise is Sam Steele on the bottom line
I
from an
definitely
offensive perspective.
yeah, I definitely agree. I will say what's up, Allison, one of our writers on Whatahockey, joining the broadcast via chat. She's got a question that we will dive into here in just a second. By the way, I do not believe Rupe is going to play tomorrow. He, from what it sounds like, is very unlikely to play. Which at this point, obviously, it's game one. You want everybody out there. You want top lines rolling. But I think obviously it's very okay for him not to be playing because you don't want to risk any further injury if he's dealing with something right now. You want to get rid of it and get through it at the very beginning of the season as opposed to letting it sit and then just trying to get him out there and see what happens. I don't want him getting hurt any further. I think a lot of people have very high hopes for Rupe Hintz this particular season, as most of the seasons. But this one in particular, it feels like he's coming into his own as that guy. Robo has exceeded expectations, I would say, and become that guy a lot quicker, obviously, in his sophomore year of the NHL. But for me, I think the biggest surprise, I have to agree with you, is Sam Steele. I mean, he was a good signing, only 850,000. He's a RFA after this year, so you essentially could keep him around. But I don't know. I'm with you. I will say the one that disappointed me the most, and I think a little bit has to do with the fact that we talked to him in person and saw how passionate he was about wanting to be a part of this team was Matej Blumel. And he put up a really, really good preseason. Now, from our standpoint as a fan, one of the best problems you can have is having too many good people up at the top. And
Yep.
not saying that we don't have good people, and I don't want to say the bottom, but we have so much talent in this organization right now that the Texas Stars, oh my God. Like if you look,
They're gonna be that's some value going to those games down there.
oh my gosh. Yeah. If you're in Cedar Park and you're looking for something to do on a Friday or Saturday night and they're playing, by all means, you need to go and see these guys. I mean, you look at their roster, they've got Matej Blumel, like we just talked about, Maverick York, another guy, Semenov, he's one of the hardest working guys on the ice in the developmental camps that we've been to the last 2 seasons. He works his butt off, and not to mention Logan Stankoven, Nicholas Kamano, who he's a workhorse. I think he knows that he's kind of in the AHL for the long run, but he also plays like he could be in the NHL tomorrow. Um, Petrovic, or Petrovic, I apologize, who went through waivers. Now he's down with the Texas Stars. Christian Kyrou, brother of the Kyrou up in St. Louis, who we will play on opening night. And then, of course, Leon Bischel. I said Bixel, I think, last time. I believe it's Bischel. Correct me in the chat.
It's
Is it Bixel or Bischel? It
It's
feels like
Bishel.
he's 19 years old, and watching him play in person, I got to go to the game. Shout out to my boy JD. I got to go to the game on Tuesday night of last week when they played the Avalanche. Bischel was bullying dudes. Like we're talking guys like Valerie Nichushkin, who is a seasoned veteran in the NHL. He's a piece of trash, but he's a seasoned veteran in the NHL. And this 19-year-old 6-foot giant, and I say 6 foot, he's like 6'3", 6'4".
He's 6'5".
He absolutely 6'6", according to Cap Friendly. 6'6",
They're probably right.
216 at 19 years old. He is a
That's a big
freak.
boy.
That's a big boy. I mean, can you imagine when he finally cracks that roster in Dallas and comes up and just adds another giant piece and maybe does more than that other giant goof that we have, Yoni Akamba?
We'll talk about him at a future date. Hopefully
Yeah,
with good things to say, but
I hope
oh
so.
boy.
Hey
Oh
boy.
boy.
But yeah, yeah, we're gonna do Val like that. No means no Chushkin. You saw the stories. That being said, I do want to bring this question up because there are a lot of really talented guys down in Texas, well, with the Texas Stars. How soon do y'all think we'll see the young guns come up? Think they'll get chances without injuries, or will it take holes in the regular roster? I gotta say, it's it's got to be injuries.
Yeah.
I don't want injuries.
There's a probably 2 holes and
That's
that's
what
it.
she said. That's what she said.
It would be Sam Steele,
Yep.
who's, you know, like Jacob said in the comments, not a whole lot of his contract is not super expensive. The other one, unfortunately, we're gonna see how long his leash is after last year when it was notoriously short, and that's um. I am. Why am I drawing a blank? Niels Lundqvist. I just
I'm
totally
glad you,
spaced.
I'm glad you brought him up because we talked about him in a previous episode. He allegedly put on 15 pounds of muscle, but in the way that it did not affect his skating. So he still has the speed. I think Lundqvist is going to be a key piece to this team if he stays healthy. I I'm very excited to see him play. And Coach Pete DeBoer even said there is not a guy who put in more work this offseason than Nils Lundqvist.
That ties back into the other surprise for me, and it's a pleasant surprise, assuming it holds. And that is Miro power play 1, Nils power play 2.
I mean,
Literally anybody
yeah,
that's not Ryan Suter manning the second unit, I'm happy with.
I'm with you
It's
on
as
that.
simple as that. Like
I am.
he's not good on the power play. Yeah, I'm sorry. It is what it is.
He's not. Ryan Suter's not good at anything. Also, I want to
Like
give a huge shout out. I don't know the fan's name, but Tuesday night, the Dallas Stars held their quote unquote annual season ticket member event at Six Flags. And somebody had Ryan Suter bat. I don't know if you saw this, the F number 20 hat. And I guess his response was, do I really have to sign that? That's kind of mean. And I wanted to be like, oh, buddy.
that is really mean, but
It is.
I respect the cojones to to go up to him with that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. You know what Suter is good at, Allison? Not growing facial hair. That's what he's good at. I don't know. He did grow facial hair last year, and I guess he got a little mean. But I was talking to some people that were like, "Yeah, go watch him play against Minnesota, though, because he has like this chip on his shoulder when he plays Minnesota." And I was like, "Well, he sure forgot that chip on his shoulder when we played against Vegas, and he completely blew one of those games that we were playing in." Oh, I don't even want to
Oh
talk about it.
boy.
Let's
Yep.
not get
The
negative
past
here.
is the past.
It
We
is.
all lived it. We know what happened. We're looking at
And a
the
huge
future.
we are looking at the future. Huge shout out to Doc because I like this comment. Makes me miss what could have been with Johns. Obviously, talking about the size and speed. Steven Johns is one of the coolest dudes. Like I it blows my mind to like think back on this team just 3 or 4 years ago and the different pieces that we had and the different concerns that we had and how few of those concerns we have now. It's insane. But yeah, Ryan Suter sucks at everything. Niels Lundqvist is 15 pounds heavier, big swole. Um, man, going back to Allison's question, I don't know. I don't think there's that short a leash with this team. I really don't. I think that these guys are here for a reason. There's also a big reason why the guys like Stankoven, Bjork, Blumel, they got sent back down to the AHL for the Texas Stars. Because if they stay here, you look at an odd man out like a Ty Dellandrea. He needs to play.
Yep.
And unfortunately, with the NHL roster, guys like him and Sam Steele will be alternating as healthy scratches. That is not what you want for guys like Bjork, Stankoven, Blumel, Bischel. You want them playing constantly. You want them to build up their talent at a higher level than they may have been at before. And so you want them to be in the AHL. It's not fun by any means, but you need those guys playing as much hockey as physically possible because you don't want them to get bored, essentially. You want them to keep playing.
They
Speaking
also
of
need
younger,
to get into that rhythm of you play 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and You have to regiment your eating and your workouts and figure out how to recover. I can't remember who it was that we interviewed, but one of the guys from the Americans, but he had mentioned his recovery um was oh, it was LA. He had
Oh
mentioned
yeah,
that his
yeah,
his recovery process was something that had to be like learned from the other guys when he got up to the ECHL, because it's not
yeah.
something that you think about, but there is a right and a wrong way to do it. So you need to get those reps in even from that perspective. So really it's just how to be a professional. It's not just playing the game, it's doing it, being
Yeah.
a hockey player.
And this is something that I have said multiple times on the podcast before. At the end of the day, this is a business first and a sport second. They are
Yep.
making what they think and they feel is the best business decision, not just for the team, but for their assets, aka the players on their rosters. So it's not fun. I think everybody, I speak for 99.99% of Stars fans when I say it is a bit of a bummer that we didn't see Logan Stankoven up on the main roster. I think a lot of people were arguing he could be one of those dark horses, to take the Calder Cup from Bernard, who you already hate, and he scored his first goal tonight. But I
I haven't been on
digress.
Instagram, so I haven't seen the NHL's 37 posts about it.
Oh, don't you worry, they're coming. Um, that being said, moving on.
Oh, it's already pinned to the top of their profile.
Oh, it's going to stay there all season long.
Oh my god, dude.
I think we
What it
can both agree. Who from camp do you wish had stayed up? It's no question. Logan Stankoven.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's no question.
for sure.
Um, but I want you to take over because you did some research on this and went into some odds for. Actually, before we say that, Wyatt Johnston, upper body injury. From what it sounds like, he is going to play tomorrow in the home opener, the season opener. There should be no concerns of that. The only guy that there are any concerns about is Rupe Hentz, and again, it's unlikely that he will play. So that being
Uh
said, Pat, take me to
yeah.
Vegas.
According to Saad Yusuf, friend of the show, he
Yeah,
had
friend of the
posted he
show,
had posted a video that Wyatt was out of the no contact jersey in practice yesterday.
which
Always
is
a good sign.
as well as Roddick Foxa, by the way.
Yep. Yep. Only Rope in the red. Alrighty, Fink.
So yeah,
I want to get your take on these Vegas odds. Uh, Vegas odds for the first one. I could not find futures on point totals. I don't think
okay,
they get that in depth, or if they do, I'm not enough of a degen to be able to find it. But Stars point total. I'm going off of FanDuel. They varied a
okay,
little bit. FanDuel had the over under at 103 and a half. Over under.
okay. Um, the homer in me wants to take the over. The realist in me, if this team stays healthy, also says the over. I think we land at 104. That's what I'm
104.
going with. 104.
Okay. I'm
What about you?
going I'm going even further over.
Oh,
I'm going to go as far as to say they'll hit 110.
oh man. I almost
And
don't want them to though, because that sets the expectation of you scored 110 points. You had one of
yeah.
your best seasons in God knows how long. You're
Yeah.
destined. I mean, you look at the Boston Bruins of last year who broke the record, and we saw what happened with that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my mind is at. Is I want them to do well. I want them to get first in the division. I don't know by how much. If we have 104, I want the Avalanche to have 102. One of those kind of things. So that's where
I
my
agree.
head's at with that.
My only rationale there is that we had 108 last year with 14 overtime losses.
Ooh, yeah, we got to deal with that.
If they convert 4 of those, that's 112. And on paper, there's a reason the games are played, but on paper, this team is better than it was last year. Is it? TBD.
TBD indeed.
But that's just my rationale. But with the over set at 103, I would probably smash that.
Yeah, it smashed the over on that too.
If it
Now
was
that now
legal to
now that you
bet in
bring up,
Texas, which it is
yeah,
not,
it's
so
not. It's
I'm not saying you should, but
it's against the law.
if you got a friend that lives in a place where
With a
it
place in the
is
thing,
legal,
yeah, yeah.
maybe send them like $50 for groceries, and if they happen to place a bet through their local sports book, then
That's why you
whoops.
make friends with DJs. Yeah, I also apparently of course Ryan, he's a Blackhawks fan, so of course he liked the Bedard goal. Yeah, Jakob, as I call him. NHL YouTube already has Bedard's goal clipped. Austin Matthews got his 300th goal tonight. Whatever. Leafs are out in the first round. I'm so sick of the Leafs. And they're not even good. They're overachievers.
The New York Yankees of with fewer wins.
Yep. So, all right, who do we have next? Point
I
total,
I have
FanDuel.
I have these broken out into young guns and
Okay.
old guys and question marks.
Let's start it off with the young guns.
Let's do it. Robo with a ridiculous year last year with 109 points. You think he matches that? Clears it? Under.
Under. I'm going under on that. And there's a
I
reason why.
also Okay, let's hear it.
Well, I think we have to go to the next person that's on our list, and that's why. But I'm going under
Okay.
109 for Robo.
All right. The next person on our list is Hints, 75 last year.
Smash that over.
Smash the over.
Robo's going under because Hints is going over.
Okay.
That's why. I think Hints is going to have, I can't say a breakout year because he's played extremely well, but I think Hints, once he's back on the ice, is going to have one of the best years that we're going to see out of him. And I think we're easily over 100. 75, in my personal opinion, is insulting over on Hints.
We saw the breakout even further in the playoffs. And
Yeah.
if he can keep that going, I agree. Well over 75.
It all depends on how he feels about his hair next year. Simple as that.
Are you a long hair or short hair Hints fan?
I kind of like Anarchy. I like the short hair because everyone's like, oh, grow it out, let the flow go. But at the same time, thanks, Blaine. I like the short hair because it kind of like it ruffles people's feathers, and I like to ruffle some feathers. So yeah, I like short haired Hints. But yeah, smash that over.
Yep. I agree. So I said we had young guys, old guys, and question marks.
Yep.
But Pavelski, 77.
Oh,
Does he benefit from the Hints breakout as well?
I mean,
With the primary, secondary.
without a doubt. I think we're looking at Pavelski over 80 points this year. So I'm gonna go over on that.
Okay, so just to recap, we have Robo under 110, Hints well over 75,
Well,
Avs into the 80s.
yep.
Okay.
I think that's fair. I think Robo lands in the 90s, which is extremely respectable.
Yep.
And you if you can have one 100-point scorer on that top line, you're doing well. It's I don't want this team to be top heavy. I want that butter to spread. I'll put it like that.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah. All right. A couple of
Other
takes real quick. Allison, totally agree with Rupe. Yep. Please no more Slim Shady. Sorry, it's here to stay. Jakob, if Hintz stays healthy, should definitely be over a point a game season. Completely agree.
Agreed.
Allison has a question, but we're going to do a couple more of these over-unders real quick before we dive into that.
Yep.
All right, who we got next on the Young
Ju-
Guns?
Just the other two primary young guys. Miro, record-setting season at 73. Does he break it? This is where it gets tricky.
I'm going to say yes. Because
Okay.
he has focused so much on his offensive game in the offseason. And he's talked about knowing that he is only going to win the Norris Trophy if he puts up
Scores
offensive numbers.
a
Yep.
bunch of goals and a bunch of assists.
Yep. So I look to see him put more pucks on net with the intention of scoring as opposed to rebounds or deflections. I think he is going to get at least 77, if not more. And it would not surprise me if we see him jump up to his career high in points this year.
Here's a question. Should there be a secondary defenseman award? And
Like
it's
the
broken
Norris and the
out between
go
the
ahead.
between the Norris, which realistically should be the best defenseman, but has become who scores the most. And a second one, should they have best offensive defenseman? Because I personally
Yeah.
think
Yes.
Miro
Yes.
is a top 3 overall well-rounded defenseman.
I agree. And there has been some, I don't want to say disrespect, but ignorance on his name to where
Yeah.
he doesn't get the notoriety that he absolutely deserves.
And I feel like that's twofold. One, because we are a quote unquote non-hockey market, which is
Yeah.
BS.
So dumb.
And two, the plays that he makes that look so easy are not easy at all, but he does it so well that it's like, oh, there's Miro. Like his greatness is almost overlooked because he makes it look that simple.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. So does Jakob. Defense needs 2 awards. Call it the Orr Trophy. Yep. Allison and Miro wants Norris bad. He does.
Yes.
The fact that he's talking about it as a guy who only says, oh, pretty good, that means that he is definitely wanting something. So, all right, let's do the last young gun. We'll answer a question real quick, and then we'll
Yep.
go through the old guys.
Yep. And this one, I feel like I know your answer. That
Yep.
is young Johnny, 41 points.
Smash that over.
Yep.
Smash the over. He is comfortable. He is back home with Papa Pavs, not living in the guest house, living downstairs. he he is primed. I think we saw a breakout sophomore season in Jason Robertson. I don't think we're going to see that from Johnny, and that's okay. I don't want that. I don't need him to be that. I need him to be a 50 to 60 point guy next season, and I think if he does that, we are going to be in a very comfortable spot.
Yeah, I think the expectation needs to be don't break out, just show visible improvement.
Yes, that's all you need. Just show
If
visible improvement. Everything else will click.
if we only had the top line, yeah, we need you to break out.
Yep.
But he's in such a good position where he's at between two certified professionals in Dad and Jamie Benn as mentors, show him the ropes of the offense, and honestly give him free reign, not free reign, but give him a leash to make mistakes that a young kid is going to make and they'll cover it as best they can. Like that goes so far to say play free hockey, play with us as a unit and the points will follow.
Yep.
And I think
Completely agree.
we saw that in the playoffs as well, which man, we didn't get it done, but there is a lot of promising developments from the playoffs,
I don't
which we
want
can
to. I don't
discuss
want to.
at a later date also.
Yeah, and I don't want to like pump our own,
guns here and talk about how great we are, but they're for the first time in my adult life, people are saying that the Stars are the favorites in the Western Conference. Like, not even shying away from it. They're not like, "Oh, this is a terrible pick, but I have to say it." They're like, "No, this team is primed and ready, not just now, but for the next like 3 years at least." All right, so we already talked about Pavs, old guys. Let's dive into this question real quick from Allison. What are y'all thinking with goaltending this season? It was pretty clear that the long season was rough on Otter last year. By the end, will we see Wedge and goal more this year in preparation for another long push? Um, Short answer, yes. Long answer, if you've listened to the podcast before, you've heard me say that I think Wedgwood is going to be the key to the success of the Dallas Stars winning the Stanley Cup. And the majority of the reason is just what Allison just said. I think that they put it around 62 games, where an NHL goaltender plays 62 games and then he statistically fades. And not because of lack of talent, but because of lack of energy. He gets tired. And so I can't remember how many games Ottinger played last year, but it was well over 62. And a big reason for that was we lost Scott Wedgwood to injury for an elongated amount of time. And due to that, we brought up Remy Poirier. I can't remember who else we brought up. I think it might have just been Remy Poirier. It might have been
Matt Murray.
Matt Murray. Thank you. Remy Poirier and Matt Murray. The other Matt Murray, not the Matt Murray that's hurt for 8 months, but the Matt Murray that's healthy now. So, all that being said, Scott Wedgwood to me is in fact the key to the success of this team, because if he can literally play 15 games, maybe 20, and stay healthy throughout that and give you quality starts and net, then Ottinger can literally lay back and take a breath and sit and say, we're good. I don't have to be Jake Ottinger the Great every single night. I can be Jake Ottinger the backup goalie. I can put the towel around my neck like Mike McKenna was trying to bring back. Shout out Mike McKenna, old Dallas Stars goalie. He can be that guy that takes a break, because I don't think at any point last season after Wedgwood got hurt, he had that opportunity to go, I'm good.
Yep.
Because at any point you look at Poirier and Matt Murray and bless their hearts, you know, they're only 22, Remy, and Matt is 25, younger at that point when they played. If they get shelled, which by the way, it's wild because I think Jake Ottinger's 24, 25 now. Insane.
Yeah, I believe he's 24.
Insane. But hello, Jake. Wedgwood in his body might be a bigger liability than Suter. I think, you know what? I think that's valid. And stop being mean.
Maybe the phrasing isn't the best.
Stop being mean. He's also going to be a dad, Jake. Congrats to Jake. Found out he's going to be a dad a couple months ago. So you know what? So is Scott Wedgwood. Have a heart, Jake. Worst commissioner in fantasy hockey. Yeah, Wedgwood is vital to the success of this team in my opinion. But okay.
Commissioner's a thankless job, Jake. I get it.
Yeah.
We do our best, and all we do is just get pooped on. I'm trying not to swear in this one. See if we can have a non-explicit episode.
I did say the S word once, but you know what? They do that on TV and rated PG movies. So we're doing
PG
good.
in like the 90s, I think.
Yeah, I said, and I even said the letter F instead of what I usually say.
Doing good.
All right, let's old guys. We already went over Pavelski, 77, smashing the over.
Yep.
Who's next?
El Capitan, Jamie Benn, 78 points.
No, it's just not going to happen.
I agree.
He had a really good season, a magical season. The Benaissance. I still think he's good for 65 to 70, but I do not see him breaking that 70 mark ever again in his career.
I agree.
I hate that. I like him.
He's just getting old, man.
He is getting old, and his game is going to have to adapt and evolve as it already has, but even more so as he continues to age.
Yep. I mean, we see it all the time with power forwards.
Yeah.
That game that play style just does not age well at all.
No, it doesn't. And before we dive into the next guy, I wanted to bring up Jared, friend of the show, great goalie, good beer league guy, great for the locker room. Jamie Benn is sitting 60 at best. The reason that I wanted to bring this up, and Patrick, you'll get a wild kick out of this. Jared and I are playing each other in fantasy hockey this season, right now. Our draft was this past Tuesday. No, I'm sorry, Monday. Jared's entire bench as of last night, he went and changed it, was all Dallas Stars players, including Ryan Suter and Jay Ben. Not Jamie, but Jordy, who was recently released from his PTO with the Dallas Stars and is currently not signed to any NHL team.
Oh, man.
Shout out to Jared.
That's a quick drop.
Yeah, I love Jared. Congrats on Jordy Ben. Anyway, okay, moving on. I think this next one is, I don't want to say controversial, but could be if you feel a certain way about the guy.
Can we call him old at this point?
Yes, he's married now. So yeah.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
I don't know what that, and I apologize because you're married and you're much younger than me. But yes, in hockey terms.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I think he and I are like the same age also, which is weird.
Jesus, that's wild.
How old? We're talking about Tyler Seguin.
Tyler Seguin, everybody.
How old is he? He's 31. He's 1 year older than me. Okay.
Okay.
He's also made about 60, probably like 600 times more in his life than I have at this point. That's neither here nor there.
Since we started talking about him, he's made more than you have this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that really puts it in perspective.
Oh, man. All right, Tyler Seguin, what's the point total? Are we going over or under?
50 points. And this ties into our question marks coming up next.
Hear me out.
Spoiler.
Over. I think if he stays on that line with Dutchie and Marchie. That's his line, right? Seguin, Duchesne, Marchment.
Yep.
I think he has a chance to get over because there is not a guy that is more excited to play for his new team via social media than Matt Duchesne. That guy has literally adopted Texas. If you follow him on Instagram, he's posting about his kids skating at Star Centers. He's posting about going to Cowboys games. He's Texas this. He's sharing the Dallas Stars updates about Dutchdown in Dallas, which awful marketing.
There are good bits and bad bits, and that is an atrocious bit.
The most atrocious bit of all time. But that being said, he has 110% adopted being 100% a part of the Dallas Stars. So, yeah, Tyler Seguin is going to benefit from Matt Duchesne, and I hope Marchment does too, and not just for the first 3.5 weeks of the season. So,
so you're going over on Seguin.
I'm going over. It might just be 51, it might be 52, but I'm going to go over.
I'm going to go over as well. Speaking of Marchment, and this is for my own personal sake because I don't want to send my Reverse Retro 2.0 back to Jake's to get it restitched with hints or whomever. Mason Marchment, 31 points. Good Lord, dude.
How sad is it that that's what Vegas is putting his line at?
No, that was point totals from last. These are all point totals from last year.
Okay. That is embarrassing on a team with as much riches as the Stars have. That's embarrassing. I pray that he gets over. If he doesn't, I'm sorry, because like you just said, you have the jersey that you got made for Marchment. I'm looking to move him. He has a friendly
Yeah, got
contract.
to.
Yeah, he has a team friendly contract. I look at the possibility of saying adios, baby blue eyes. We gave it a good run, but it's obvious that you are not a fit here.
If he doesn't put up
And
at least 50 points,
yeah,
honestly, if he doesn't put up 40 by like early February,
I'm
I think
concerned.
you gotta cut ties, and
Yeah.
that really stings.
But of course, he's got a no trade clause
Oh my god, dude.
because that's what Jim Nill does. Now I can't sit here and bash Jim Nill because he has put together a hell of a team with a hell of a pipeline. But the NTCs and the NMCs,
But it's not. I'm slowly realizing it's not just Jim Nill, dude. Like the Wild signed Marcus Foligno to 4 years for 3.5, and the first two have a full no move clause. Like
yep.
what is the deal? I don't get
I
it.
don't know. I don't get it either. Ironically, what's funny about Marchman's contract is he has no signing bonus this year. He has $1 million signing bonus in 22-23, none this year, and then another million the next 2 years. So he is not getting $1 million bonus this year. But
Interesting.
his base salary was $5 million last year. It'll be 4.8 this year.
Little
And then
cap
2.6,
wizardry.
2.6. Yeah. Nil's cooking. He was cooking when he made this contract out. But
If
yeah,
somebody could explain to me in layman's terms the day-to-day operation of the NHL salary cap, I will pay for that information, because for as long as we've been doing this and for all of the implications of AAV and all of that, the
it makes no
day-to-day,
sense.
no idea.
Banana lands.
No idea. All
All
right.
right.
This is the true question mark of the team, in my opinion. Matt Duchene, 56 points last year with Trashville.
PP cats.
What do you think?
Over.
This
Over.
one is really hard.
Over. For me, it's not. It's not
Okay.
difficult just because of how excited he is to be here. If he stays healthy, and we're going to say that a lot this season, if he stays healthy, this guy wants to be here. He wants to prove himself. He wants to be a part of this organization. He wants to win a Stanley Cup. And he saw this team and said, not only am I excited to join this organization, but I'm excited to join it because I know that they will win soon. And I'm going to join them for much less money than I probably should. And so
What a
for
time
me,
to be alive.
that means like, okay, this guy is locked in. So also, before we dive into the rest of them, actually, tell me real quick,
We
what do
only
you
have
think?
two
What do you think?
more.
What do you think?
I think over by a smidge. His shooting percentage last year was pretty good. A
Mhm.
pretty significant drop off from the year before, but I don't think almost 20% shooting percentage is really sustainable for a forward if you're going to take
Fair.
a lot of shots,
Yep.
which ideally in Pete DeBue's system, ideally in Pete's system, he will shoot often on that line. Third line, second line, TBD. I don't think it really matters.
Yeah.
But um but he was at 14% last year, which is pretty good. That's really good.
Yeah.
13.7. So, if he can match that shooting percentage with an increase in total shots, naturally, and feed Marchment and Sagan, and just pray to God that Marchment figures out how to score. Yeah, over 56 for me.
I'm with you. Well said, well put. I think that he's got it. I think he wants it. So,
Yep.
I don't know if you saw. I'm going to change complete topics.
Okay.
Even to the point where I'm changing sports.
Oh, okay. I do love other sports.
The Texas Rangers are officially playing the Houston Astros in the ALCS.
Oh boy.
I'm sure this will be a very, very civil series between fan bases.
This
and
is
teams.
this may take over Stars Wild from last season in terms of overall toxicity.
Yep. Oh, without it, I don't know. I don't know. We could go on a tangent about the Wild because I don't know if you saw, but they were throwing popcorn on Jamie Benn in the penalty box in a preseason game. And Ryan Hartman, that piece of trash, ex-Dallas Stars legend for like 3 days, legitimately put his knee out to trip Robo because he was butthurt that Jamie Benn was stronger than him and ripped his stick out of his hands. What a trash organization with a trash team. Just absolute trash. To think that a blessed angel like Marc-Andre Fleury has to suffer with being in the locker room with those miscreants, those buffoons. It breaks my heart. Land of 1,000 lakes. I'll pee in every one of them.
Take the team from Minnesota, put them down in Houston. We'll have a new state of hockey.
No, I don't want that because then they'll win a Stanley Cup because you have to leave the state of hockey to win the greatest trophy in hockey. Apparently, we could go on for hours about that trash. Anyway, Texas Rangers and Creed. Might I add,
has taken us higher.
They have. Take me to the World Series, baby. Scott Stapp, spread your arms wide open, embrace me, and embrace the Texas Rangers.
I don't know if Creed is currently on tour, but if Scott Stapp and the band are not at the first ALCS home game, what are we even doing here?
Could you imagine? Oh my God. Could you imagine? They did. So Scott Stapp.
I don't actually want Houston hockey, by the way. Just
no, we don't. We don't. No, we don't want Houston hockey. Scott Stapp actually sang the national anthem, I think, at a Nashville Predators game. So I know that Scott Stapp is a sports fan. Not only is he a sports fan, he is a massive baseball fan. A little snippet for you before we start to wrap things up. Go on YouTube and look for Soar Marlins Soar by Creed. It is a song performed by Creed about the Marlins. And there are let me pull up the lyrics because I don't necessarily want to ruin the song for you. I want you to imagine what these lyrics sound like when sung by one Scott Stapp. Marlins will soar. Let's play ball. It's game day. We watch strikeouts, base hits, double plays. Take the field. Hear the roar. Come on, Marlins. Make us proud. Keep hoping and dreaming, and you will soar. The entire song is just baseball terms.
Yep.
Sung by Creed. Go look it up. Soar, Marlins, soar. So the Creed, they are baseball fans.
While you're at it, I have one continuation from Marlins Will Soar.
That scares the piss out of me.
Look up You Will Score by one Danny Bayless. When he was still at the ticket, they caught wind of that song.
Oh, no.
And naturally, he made his own version, and it is fantastic.
I have it queued up. I will listen once we are done.
So good. I check back in on it periodically, like every 3 months. just because it
Just
gets in my head, and I'm like,
yeah.
I gotta scratch that itch.
Oh
So,
man. Well, yeah. Astros, Rangers, ALCS. You could not have written a better story for a more terrible franchise than the Houston Disastros. Get your trash cans ready. It's gonna be a blast.
yeah, I'm breaking our explicit here. Fuck the Astros.
Fuck Houston. That whole city sucks.
Yep.
It is the butthole of Texas. It smells, it's sticky. No one wants to be there. And if you get there, you pull out real fast because you didn't mean to get in there. Anyway, all right. Jake Ottinger, win total. What's the over under for you?
Last year, I had his stats pulled up. Last year, he played in 62 games, 37 wins, 11 losses.
He has less wins and less losses because, like we talked about earlier, Wedgwood stays healthy. He will not play as much. The wins will matter more for Jake Ottinger this year.
And he had 11 overtime / shootout losses.
Knock on wood, that does not happen this year.
Ideally, we can match his games played total or his game started total from the year before at 46.
Mm-hmm.
And his win total that year was 30.
Yeah. I'm with that.
That would be primo.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So,
all right, our last one.
Last one.
Bit over an hour here.
Okay. Also, Jakob, they had the rampage, and the Spurs ownership sold them away. I love the rampage. I miss them all the time. Yeah, we can figure out those overtime losses. Yeah, I agree.
One point about that. I think that has been a priority in training camp.
Oh, OTLs. Yep, the 3-on-3. Yep. Agreed. Yep, they have been working on it. Hopefully, it translates.
We will see. All right. Last question. Division finish. Where do we land?
At the top. I mean, realistically, this team is set up and built to win now. Not just now, but in the future, but now.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 2 or 3 point race with Colorado. I think Minnesota is going to be third. That's all that matters to me.
Our Lord and Savior Connor Bedard is going to bring Chicago out of the depths of the lottery?
No shot. I think that they are at least 2 years away from being competitive.
I agree.
So,
but they do have Corey Perry. So,
oh well, they're going to make the Stanley Cup final then. God, that guy. I do miss the bad juju that he brought along and the lonely road walk he took at the Winter Classic. But yeah, I don't.
Dude, that's got to be the worst ejection walk back to the locker room any player has ever had to do.
Without a doubt.
Like, that will not be topped. It's so far. It's so early in the game. Like, yeah.
In such a big setting.
Top 2, and it's not 2.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, Pat, we did a live. We had basically 5,000 viewers the entire time. If you commented,
to everybody that has stuck around.
We've had quite a few. Thank you for everyone that hung out and chatted with us, asked us questions, made comments, typed in Creed lyrics. We really appreciate it. We will release this. So if you want to share with your friends, if we gave you a shout out, it will be released within the next probably 12 to 14 hours, I would say, because I love sleep. But that being said, the hockey season is here. The Dallas Stars will be playing meaningful hockey as of this time tomorrow, hopefully winning and wrapping up because all games start at 7 p.m. now at home here in Dallas. So that's a little weird, but we did it. We're here. The off season is officially over. You can breathe and then clinch again. Pat, you want to start us out?
Nauseam. Yeah.
Yeah, nauseam. Yeah. Yeah. Let's round this one out.
Yeah. Shannon already covered hers. We continue to make good choices.
Please.
I don't know about you. I have been and will continue to stay moist.
Always and forever.
You heard it with the Astros. Stay sassy.
And don't, for any reason, even if you get almost the entire way through an episode of a live podcast without dropping any curse words, and then you mess up because you hate the city and the team and Houston, forget your Kermit tattoos.